Let us quick review about previous classes, what we have been discussed. Basically, I just want to ask you a questions. Uh, who designed the Python? Who was the person developed and designed the Python? What is his name?
Gideon van Rossum.
Very good, Gideon
Van Rossum.
van Rossum. And which country he is belonging to?
Netherlands.
Very good, Netherlands. And which year he has been developed?
1991.
1991. 91. Why he has given the name Python?
Because he
watched some cartoon series. It's related to Python.
Yeah. What is that series name?
Flying Python Circus.
Monthly Flying Python Circus. He loved the character of the Python. That's why he has been given that name to his programming language. Well, come to the point. What are the special features of Python? What are the features of a Python?
It is dynamic.
First point, very, very important point. So this point is not compared to other programming languages because this is a unique point. It's a dynamic. You have to mention the type. It's a very important. If you don't mention the type, dynamic is also related to the other programming languages also. The thing is the dynamic type. That means automatically or system, it will responsible to convert the data from one type to another type. So that means while you are working on the data, if the data has gone through a different types, the system itself is going to handle it. Sir, is there any possibility that is there any way can manually convert the type of the data? For example, I have given a data 200. This is an integer type. I just want to convert them into a float type of data. Manually, I just want to convert it. Is it possible? Yes, of course, it's possible. Yes, possible. What we call, remember, there is a typecasting techniques that we called as a typecasting. Typecasting. What is the typecasting? Converting the data and its type from one type to another type. That is called as a typecast. There is a two important typecasting techniques are there. One is a implicit typecasting, and another one is an explicit typecasting. What is an implicit? When the system itself converts the data type, then that will be called as an implicit typecast. But when a human or a programmer converts the data type, then that can be called as an explicit. So what is the difference between implicit and an explicit? Remember, if the system converts the data from one form to the another form, then that will be no data loss will be happens. No data loss. Example, let me give you one example. For example, I have the values like 8.333333. This is my value. This is the floating value. I want to convert this floating value into an integer. So if system will do, system never allowed to do this one. Why? Because if I convert them into an integer, it lost the data. What is that? It will become a 8. That means I lost the point values. That's why system never allow this type of conversions. What it can allows? It can allows like this one. If I want to 8 is there. This is an integer. I want to convert them into a float. I just want to convert into a float. Then that will be called a 8.0. Yes, it can be allowed. Automatically system will allow this type of conversions. Why? Because there is no difference 8 and 8.0. That's why there is no data loss will happen if the system handles the conversion of the data. But whereas explicit, that means forcefully, if the user wants to convert the data from one type of data to the another type of data, at that moment data will lose. Data may lose. So this may happens. So how can we convert? So let me explain you. For example, I am going to specifying a 8.33333. This is my data. This is my data. I want to convert A into integer type of data explicitly, not implicit. That means system never allowed to convert into an integer. The system itself will be remains the same. Why? Because it don't want to waste the time. For example, B is equals to, externally we have to specify the A. What is the A value? A is the 8.33. When I refer the integer in the brackets, what the system can understand, the programmer wants to convert these data into an integer. So I want to convert them into an integer. That means it will cut the point values and 8 will be sent to B. This is called as an explicit typecasting. This is very important that we need to understand. Sure. These are the types of the conversion of the data. Yes, very good, wonderful. So the first and foremost features of a Python is a dynamic type. Is there any other feature?
Interpreted language.
Sorry? Yes, interpreted language. Is there any other languages are interpreted?
JavaScript.
What is that?
JavaScript, sir.
Very good, JavaScript. Ever cheppindadi Avinash Nuva?
Avunu, sir.
Very good. Can you elaborate what is an interpreter? What is the use of using the interpreter? Is there any benefits are there, or is there any drawbacks are there?
Interpreted means translation, sir.
Okay. That is the only thing.
Interpreted always executes line by line.
Okay. Directly will be converts line by line to the system. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Is there any drawbacks in using the interpreted programming language? Of course, there is a drawbacks. While it is going to be executing line by line, if there any error is occurred in any particular line, it will stop there. It will never allow other lines to be executed. That's the drawback. So that's a interpreted programming language. Next, any future, third future, can anyone explain me?
Object oriented.
Very good. 100% oops. Object oriented. Not only that, it's a structural and procedural. I already gave an example how to write in a structural programming, how to write in a procedural programming, and also how to write a object oriented programming. I also gave you yesterday regarding this example. Well, and what is the next one? It's a multi-threading. It's a multi-threading. Remember, our system capability is going to having run one action at one time. When the action has been finished, then only it allows the next action. Otherwise, it will wait remaining action. So for example, I have two processes. This one is the P1 and the P2. If I want to send these two processes to my computer to run these programs. So when these two programs approaches the computer only takes one process at a time. This is the process 1. So it will take the P1 first. What about the P2? P2 has to wait until P1 has to finish its works. Right? When P1 is finished, then my computer will send back to the P1 and will take the P2. So, for example, my P1 is going to finish within the 5 minutes. So, P2 has to wait up to 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Now P2 came to my computer and extra 5 minutes has to be waited. Remember, when a process is undergone, for example, my P1 is going to have a 15 minutes of execution time period, then P2 has to wait up to 15 minutes. Then P2 will be closed. So this is very important that we need to be understand. P2 will be waited 15 minutes. It's a very long time. What happens when a process waits a long time? When a process waits a very long time, P2 will dead. This will be dead. That means when I send two processes, because of long period of waiting, P2 will be dead. Only P1 will be executed. So these are the drawbacks while the system is going to execute. To overcome this one, we introduce the multi-threading process. That means P1 and P2 will work in my computer simultaneously. So this is the very good topic. We have a one session is there. There we will be discussed completely about the multi-threading concepts. So until now, just know that there is a more than one process will be executed in my computer that will be called as a multi-threading. Simply know about it. Next thing, and the next feature of the Python.
Rich in libraries.
What is the next feature of a Python?
Rich in libraries, sir.
Sorry?
Libraries. Rich in libraries.
Very good. Rich libraries. Rich libraries. Let me show you a few things about the reporting tools and the statistical tools and everything. Let me show you. Remember, statistical programming language. Remember, statistical programming language is there. So there is a lot of programming languages are available. Statistics programming language. See, there is a S programming language. So see, S is the statistical programming language developed prior by the John. This is the statistics. What is the statistics? There are a lot of things are involved. What are they? Mean, mode, modian, and distributions, and correlation quotients. I think static students can understand these words. So the statistics is going to be implemented in a S programming language. If you want to implement any data analysis programming, you have to learn the S programming language. But instead of learning the S programming language, my Python have a library, that a statistic library. Statistics libraries are there. Statistics libraries. And also reporting tools. There is a R programming language. There is a reporting tools also there. Reporting tools. Reporting tools. Let me give you one example. I'm going to give you one example.